5 of the Intro to Comparative Public Policy. Your definition here: decisions that the government makes to address issues and solve problems. All the laws and regulations put in place to solve those problems. So how do political systems set the policies? Again, there's always legislative vote. Sometimes executive actions or decisions are made. The courts or the judicial systems or rulings can create public policies. And interest groups and political parties are also pressuring the government to do things based on what the public wants or needs. So public policy issues are similar in almost all countries. The government's different how they approach it and how they solve those things, and kind of the importance that they put on each issue. Some of those common issues: economic performance, welfare, civil liberties, and the environment. Some key terms here we need to understand before we move forward. Gross domestic product: all the goods and services produced by a country's economy in a given year, so 1 year, excluding any income earned outside of the country. So your GDP per capita, GDP divided by the population of the country. Then your gross national product, your GDP, your gross domestic product, plus income citizens earned outside of the country. So your GNP per capita is your gross national product divided by the population of the country. Then your purchase power parity, PPP, which we'll talk about, like the gross national product, except it takes into account what people can buy using their income in their local economies. So your purchasing power parity per capita is your PPP divided by your population of the country. There's a quick map looking at the GDP per capita throughout the world. Some comparative economic indexes here in 2014. You're looking at the 6 AP comparative countries and the United States. GDP in trillions of US dollars, your population, and then GDP per capita in US dollars. Quick map of purchasing power parity. World GDP, the rankings. When we look at public policy, we talk about the Gini index for when we're looking at social welfare. A mathematical formula measures the amount of economic inequality in society. 0 equals perfect equality. 1 equals complete inequality. So you look at the U.S. and our 6 nations. Again, the higher the number there, closer to inequality. Social welfare deals with health, employment, family assistance, education. Some ways they measure the literacy rates, distribution of income throughout the country, how long people are living, and the level of education people are receiving. Here's a map of the Gini index throughout the world. HDI, again, Human Development Index, also looking into social welfare, measures the well-being of a country's people by factoring life expectancy, so their health, the mean and expected years of school, how many years of school they are going to, and then the GNP per capita and their living standards. That creates the HDI scale. Here's your scale. Index 0 to 1. Usually you get a decimal score. Scores over 0.8 are very high levels of HDI. Scores under 0.5, low levels. Here's a quick map of your levels. Public policy also talks about civil liberties, your freedoms for individuals such as speech, assembly, religion, poverty, life, fair trials. Again, your political rights, your promotion of equality, political freedoms, promotion of those freedoms, and there's a Freedom House ranking. So it ranks countries on a scale from 1 to 7, 1 being the most free. For example, United States for political rights and liberties are 1, along with the UK. And then if you look at Russia, has a 6 for their overall rating. China 6.5 as well. Iran 6s. Mexico's right in the middle. Looking at the countries: free, partly free, not free, worst of the worst. Other things, challenges that make public policy creating hard: globalization, so all the interconnectedness between the people, cultures, economies, because of technology and trade. Also in the environment, a lot of countries are forming green parties, pressuring people to create public policy based on the environment. Population, immigration, and migration are changing, and global terrorism. Also, corruption we'll find throughout these 6 countries is very prevalent. The illegitimate use of all that political and economic power, whether it's personal gain or maybe party gain for illegal purposes. Transparent International is a non-governmental organization that looks at and evaluates the corruption and business practices throughout countries, and they report on it. And they created a corruption perceptions index, rates countries 0, which is very corrupt, to 100, very clean. Again, one of the questions we'll ask: which countries of the AP6 will have the least corruption, the most? And you can kind of make your guesses with that. And that is part 5 of the intro unit.